can also just start like this. I don't know.
Okay, I just quickly introduce you and then you may start. Okay, let's start. I will quickly introduce our guest, Paula Schwarz. We met about a year ago in the European Union, a commission in the European Union in Brussels, where we discussed issues with data and how to solve them, to bring leaders, not only religious but also political leaders, to a new understanding based on technology and based on data. And then I invited Paula that she could give a talk here in Fribourg to you and hopefully also to a lot of listeners or visitors online, so that she can give a talk about what she's doing the last few years since she left the island of Samos, where she lived for a long time, and since then she did a lot. She was also with the World Economic Forum, helping young leaders. That was even before, okay. To develop their ideas. Then she built out of that, she quit with them, and she built out of that since 2018, right? She built a new World Economic Forum that she will talk about today. And I leave the floor to you. I don't know, is it not working?
It's not working somehow, I don't know. Okay, never mind. So thank you guys for being here. I feel like a total underdog because I have a special story like all of you I'm sure have. My life is about relativity, and what this means is something that I'm going to get into in this talk, but it's actually okay if you just, because it's better for me to focus rather than to be defocused. Okay, so the thing is, I'm just going to play it by ear, and all of the artifacts that I had on the slides I have with me too. So, because we're going to talk about data, yeah? So I have physical data with me that I depicted here.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it's fine. So I breathe this, you know, so no problem. Okay, basically, who am I? Yeah, I'm a product of a German father who is an investor in the medical field and an heir of the second largest German pharmaceutical company after Bayer. This company was sold to a Belgian company then, so my family got a lot of money. But the reason why I'm into data is because I needed to understand a little bit of my dad's background, because he married my mother as a woman who's from Greece, and she had given her a complete table of human rights to him, including mine afterwards. And I'm the only woman of the next generation of my family. Now my problem was that I'm interested in life, and I just wanted to understand a couple of things. So when I was a child, I used to ask questions, like, sorry, I'm just going to do this. So I would ask questions to say like, okay, maybe he's cheating, or maybe he's unhappy, or she's unhappy. And so, you know, I grew up in this rich thing that people look for today, but I just realized that people are not very happy. And I just wanted to be happy. So I called bullshit on a lot of things, which caused a lot of problems early in. So, okay,
It's the wrong.
oh, it's the wrong move. Okay, great, I thought you hated me. Okay, another time. Eventually I landed at a point in my life where I just didn't know what the hell was going on, because Actually, I have it out here. Maybe that's even better for the video. So I have this beautiful case, but I have this beautiful case. And this is the most beautiful. So essentially, when I was 27, I'm 30 years old now, I found two documentaries. Both of them my father had. And both of them have my human rights on them. And his full allowance to act in my name. And I had never seen any case. And so around 3 years ago, I was half dead on this island in Greece because I lived there for 7 years and I helped refugees because I felt like a total waste. Because I had funding from Google, from Cisco, from Bayer, even. I tried to understand my family, and they did not want to support me. So I kept on supporting refugees up until the point where I was, almost dead. And then at one night, Eddie said I should say this. One night I saw my soul. It was in a mental person's jacket. It was like leaning against the floor, or like the wall. And I looked like the girl from The Ring with like black hair. And I was really scared because I knew that I was going to die if I didn't do anything. And I didn't have that. By the way, my mother then became a shrink who was saying like, your work is the depiction of your inner psychosis. Everything that you think is not true. And of course, everything is here. So after that, I was like, holy shit, 7 years on an island. These are not my real teeth, these are fake teeth. I lost 50% of my teeth because I had to throw up so much with what happened, around 15 times a day. Very grateful to my dentist. And I care about people's relativity. And I care about people's relativity also because there's this person called Mark Zuckerberg. I disrespectfully call him the Zuckerfuck. I'm sorry, he's an idiot. And so what he's doing is actually he's taking the soul of the people every day. Like he's making you feed that machine, and then he's like, whoop, it's mine. And then he sells that data to Donald Trump, and then Donald Trump says, and that's something I don't like. With the mother and the father that I have, it's a no-go. After 7 years on that island. So the reason why I look nice is because I just wanted to survive. Just didn't want to die anymore. And so what is the cloud law all about? The cloud law is a depiction of your relativity based on data. So if you think about a piano is actually a scale of tones. You have like, and like, we had this at lunch today. And so if you think about a way to transport your inner life to the outside realm, that's something that I want to depict on a new form of blockchain. Because it's different sets of information. It starts with your core, and then it goes into your emotional spectrum, and then it goes into your physical spectrum as to what you consume, also the body parts that you have, for example, or how you can organize your physique, and then it's about interaction. So if I give Eddie my phone, then the market says it's an iPhone, and it costs so much to produce this, and this is the value that it has after it's been used, and blah, blah, blah. Now, my phone has my shit on it, and if I give it to Eddie, he's not going to be able to do very much of it. So my phone, for me, has a relative value that is not shown on the market. And that's a problem, the relativity of value on the market. That's a massive problem, because it's just not there. And that's what the cloud law is all about. And so I have a very big problem with money also, because I think that, if I give you a compliment, if I say, nice glasses, then I don't just give you words, I also give you something like an aura. And Gazprom is very interested in my concepts because they like this multi-dimensional value thinking, and it's an art form to depict that in data. You can do that with colors, you can do that with sounds, you can do that with both of them together. But the most important thing is to make people understand that they have value. They are not their brain, they're not their computer or their Prada bag. Today when you go into a Prada store, you think, oh, now I'm wealthy or I have value. And then you go to Gucci and then you say, oh, now I have even more value. And then you end up at home, if you're like people who I know, and you feel like shit. And you take a line of cocaine and you think, what the fuck is going on? And then you go and piss off your employee. That's not value. That's a lie. And this lie has to stop. Even Henry Ford said, when people get to the truth of money, don't tell them that it's not it, because it's terrible. We're all working for the wrong things. We're on the wrong track. Funded by the Christian church, for example. But that's a different topic. I'm not going to get into that. So the cloud law depicts the relativity of the individual. Electronomics is something that, based on the data and the process of putting this data into this aura, is called datanomics. And that's it. For me, it's an educational field more than anything, because people need to understand that they're not a toilet inside. Like, you cannot just be an operational zombie all the time, you know. And we just have to go back to the inside, and we can use the power of technology to do that. That's a very new age hippie style concept, but it saved my ass and my life. And so how it works is, I would like everyone to learn how to depict their aura for themselves. They have ownership, not anyone else. So it's centralized, but in you, and in you, and in you. For me, it's a new form of centralized. Having said that, I don't really understand why people only look at centralized as why do people not start with themselves? Things should be eco-centralized more. And then you can say, okay, today I'm in a shit mood, don't talk to me. Tomorrow I might be in a better mood. And so if we think also about the abilities that we have with 8 billion people on the planet, let's say even someone who is a drug addict on the street, he can organize a lot of things. Why not? You know, we can make people useful again based on their abilities. And if people understand their own value, and then they can communicate their abilities and also their preferences for the day into something like a controller, then we have something that's beautiful, like a orchestra, if you will. And the conductor is the person who says, I mean, this would be a little bit different from an orchestra, because if you play the trumpet and then you say, no, I don't want to play the trumpet today, then in the orchestra that I'm trying to build with my team, you can say, okay, I want to play the flute, you know, or I want to play with the piano. And then I would say, okay, or the controller would say, okay, or the app. It could work like Tinder, like, no, I don't want to do this job today. Just because we have so many abilities, we have so many people, and we have so many broken hearts, and it's completely okay to have a broken heart sometimes. Yeah. I'm someone who survived a massive broken heart. But nature doesn't bloom all year. We don't do either. And so it's like a spiral of evolution. And electronomics is essentially this selection of your priorities in a day, to say, yes, I want to participate in the system. We're testing this right now next to the US elections in the United States, with people who are registering on this, with their abilities, and they give it in, their abilities, and then they tell me what they want to do. And something that we're doing with that is that there are people who are driving around in rickshaws, for example, and they have generators on those rickshaws, so they collect energy. So at the same time, we're able to build something like bicycle taxis for the people that are also storing energy, like a decentralized energy structure, which completely outweighs, I mean, you can do a lot with decentralized technology. You need to be brave and a little bit crazy, I guess, to do that, but I mean, we saw so much in the refugee crisis in my team that we're going for it. So yeah, essentially, let me go back into my slides, but I think now they're working. Huh? No, it's not. Okay. So yeah, maybe what I still wanted to say is the system that I'm trying to build is not meant to have money, preferably. Like it's really meant to give the person the understanding that you know, if you wake up in the day, you can decide what you want to do. People listen to you, and then I'm good. I'm fine. I don't need
You know how to solve it.
You know how to solve it?
Yeah, I can prove it.
Okay.
Mr.
Huh?
Where is it?
It's the slides are here. Yeah, there's actually some stuff I forgot. Oops. Okay. So I'm just gonna keep going. The thing is, you know, if we wake up today, we think, you know, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning, I have to go to my job, and I have to pay for my ticket, and I have to pay for my sandwich, then I have to pay for this, then I have to pay for that, then everyone's in a bad mood, and like, wow, too fast. You know? And what I want to do is people get up, they say, how do I feel? Then they say, okay, I feel great today, so yeah, I want to do that, you know? And for me, that's a very natural instinct. It's like if a lion wakes up, yeah, that's my horrible death job. So if a lion wakes up in the morning and he doesn't want to go to the left because he sees that there's a massive something, then he goes to the right. And today we cannot do this as lions. I mean, and I see humanity actually as the gatekeepers of nature. I think that we are like a big nervous string, and that we have failed to protect animals. And the reason why I think we're a very big nervous string is because we have this brain and we can outthink the animals, which has led to us killing all the animals, and last but not least, probably soon ourselves. But we have the time now to change that. To say we're sorry, and we are actually going back to our usual role. Yeah, that's okay. So I mean, I've been everywhere. So I mean, this is here you can see double. In the center, I used to have to run around with documents like these to say, like, my father allowed.
It's okay,
Thank you. So here, it's from 17. You can see I had to run around with documents like these to actually be able to, like, get SIM cards or be able to accept money because I gave away my rights. Here it says, to accept money, to vote, to talk to ministries, to talk to tax accountants, to judges. Number 5 here you can see all of my, also die Bestellung, Kündigung und Aufgabe von dinglichen Rechten jeder Art an Grundstücken und anderen Gegenständen. So the termination of rights that are linked to movable objects, or like physical objects of any kind, of real estate and other objects. And then, of course, the execution of company rights, especially voting rights and participation in gatherings. And so here it said then that he was allowed to transfer this to third parties, partially, or individual, or in its completion. So you can imagine like 50 people at least at the top of German stock market companies that I had to call and say fuck off. Because games with my dad. And so, you know, a lot of women who are, so maybe I should also mention, yeah, a lot of women in my family killed themselves, primarily with drugs, because I come from this pharmaceutical family, and it was like either you obey, which most women did, or they drive you crazy. You have to understand that today, also Mark Zuckerberg or also like political leaders, if they don't like you, they don't kill you anymore because they can drive you completely insane. And I didn't want to die. I didn't want to go insane. I had some money from this woman who killed herself in my family that I didn't touch. I never touched the money of my family, just because I'm an oral person, and from the beginning of my life, I was like, no, thank you. So 14 schools, you know, was even also not home. They don't like me. But why I'm mentioning this is because of what you're wearing. I'm selling those to governments with the Cloud Nation. And I was kind of lucky because, you know, this money from the dead woman was there. I wanted to make money for the Cloud Nation also, to have some cash. I mean, I have the currency, but I wanted to have some base cash. So I started to sell those. And, you know, I'm not exactly in a bad situation with those now. And I don't use the money for myself. I use it to build up the infrastructure of the Cloud Nation. I'm very lucky to now have I have this new channel. But in general, I'm not a very big shopper. I would like to say that because there's a lot of money involved. What I do like is this. Oops, that's me as a kid. That's very important because I was always, I had red hair, and my mother tongue is Greek. So I was always the alien, and I was never allowed to wear what I wanted to wear, but I was always in the dirt. So I'm a very natural person, and I like that kind of stuff. So I didn't think that you were going to see the surroundings there. But this is my something. Yeah. So I like balloons. I have a couple of companies that are involved in the Cloud Nation because, as I told you, also with this rickshaw principle, we go into an ecosystem. We ask people what they sort of want, or they ask themselves, and then they feed it into a database. And then, based on the data that they give, we give them things to do. Yeah. And I want to build this for the future. It's not operational yet. But the Cloud Nation wants to build a space station in the long run, and this is not very far away because I have a CEO for this. I have a balloon factory in Spain for this. It's not mine, but it's, we have a balloon factory, and then we have a factory for the smaller parts of this close to Stuttgart in Germany. That's like roboter driven, and so I think this is a little bit like me, probably. That project of the Cloud Nation, because so we're building a car that's called the Mask. That's a balloon style car. So zero emissions, and then it should have adaptable parts to it that make it fly. A flyable car. And who here speaks German? Okay. So we came up with Flugzeug because we didn't want to call it a Flugzeug, like an airplane or a car, because we don't like regulations because of regulations. I don't care. So we called it something else, and so it's something else. And the parts of it are adaptable. That's why it's built like a Trojan horse, actually, to bring it through authorities. That's why I'm wearing this sweater, because the fabric is from NASA for the balloons. And yeah, I got a very high valuation for this specific project because I said to my bank, new bank, not my dad's bank. I said to my bank that we want to use the materials in space in order to solve problems on Earth linked to scarce metals and scarce also materials. And I don't understand how Elon Musk, for example, I'm on the board of the X Prize also, and I have a very big problem with their kerosene, of course. Also because they talk shit about making the world better a lot, which is not true. And yeah, so Abu Dhabi is funding them a lot. They're also ruining the climate. So, and then comes Donald Trump. You know, I don't like Elon Musk because he's okay with Donald Trump because he looked at me like that. So the reason why I'm saying that is because morally speaking, these people are not exactly top of the pops. Neither Abu Dhabi nor Donald Trump, and if someone like Elon Musk thinks he's the Antichrist, then why does he partner with the devil? I don't understand. For me, black lives do matter, and for him it seems like they don't, because he hasn't really said much. Anyway, so my space station, you know, taking the materials from space to solve problems like coltan usage on Earth. Who of you knows what coltan is? Coltan, C-O-L-T-A-N, coltan. So, see, this is a massive problem. Coltan is in every device that you use of technology. Over 80% of the global existing coltan resources are in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And the Congo has been in a war since 1990 with, you know, Rwanda, mass slaughterings. Today, Apple is the biggest consumer of coltan. They have not disclosed their coltan information, where they get it from. Please correct me if they did that, because I would like to see that. But they, from what I know, they have not done that. And even if they did that a year ago, it's too late for some people to not notice, you know. So coltan is the reason why the Congo is not very stable. Much of the coltan that goes out of the Congo is then deported over Rwanda, which is, you know, also not very stable. And it's national companies of states that sell this to Apple and stuff. So if you were living in the Congo, you could not go there and sell the coltan. And Apple knows this. So why do they build this? To empower the people. And then they know that if one little African slave dude, you know, gives the coltan to you, he gets butchered to death. And that's not a joke. That happens every day. And that's a problem. And so for that, we need new materials. We can find them in space. And there's something that we call the International Space Station that is only full of bullshit, because it's only international researchers who are like, no, I want to do this, and you know, it's like, where the fuck is the synergy? And have you not seen what you can do on Earth with the powers that you know, that you can access in the universe? There's so much to be done here, and no one is doing anything. And so that's why I said to my bank, you know, I want to find those materials. I want to do that with this international community of the cloud nation, of those people who know how to work synergetically based on this new principle. I can depict that with a currency called the drop, built on Ethereum, to actually show the value to a monodimensional currency. Like, monodimensional for me is money. And that's why they said, okay, so I have like a $1 billion valuation. It's nice. And it's also something something additional. So the prototype is ready in 3 months for the space station. And I'm building smaller space stations next to the bigger one for Samsung, for Dolby, because, like, why the fuck does Elon Musk or Richard Branson They don't build spaceships for other people either. They only do that to bring people. You could totally be more open with that concept. You can franchise it, you can franchise your information, but he's playing the patent game. He's like, yeah, you can have my patents for this and for that, just so that you don't look to the space topic, you know? Why the hell does not everyone have a rocket? And yes, we can build that. I know that. I'm doing that. And so that's the other part of my funding scheme, is not only do we solve problems for the world and people understand why we need that, so they like that, but also do we have interest from very big companies that want their spaceships. And the prototype will show them what that looks like, and the prototype will hang on top of the island where I was based for 7 years. Yeah, just because it's an emotional thing for me also, that I want to hang it on top of that. And it will have a Greek pi on it, because pi is the never-ending number, and it's to the universe is also never-ending. So that is not the end. The end would be actually this. A system is a system of systems, yeah? From a philosophical point of view. From a technological point of view, if you think about reality, then I'm a real person. I need education sometimes. I need food. I need something now to pay for my food. I need to walk to the next room if I want to go there. So a system is a system of systems. I have different subsystems. And if you are a subsystem in subsystems in a bigger system, everyone is very, very important, because it's like also if the smallest part of your body doesn't work, then it might be a problem for the whole. And that's the problem with our economy today. We don't understand this. And so what I'm trying to get to is the Cloud Nation has this mission to bring the people together on Earth, to show the ridiculousness of money, because it's not helpful, it's not. And also we will have a problem with the players linked to this money system. I have problems with them, but I'm always open to have a conversation. And I can put data in front of you, you know. So please come and talk to me. And you know, when this goal has been reached of uniting the world, of then, you know, also securing this space topic, because I find it very dangerous what's happening. And this is so fast with the space stuff, because my CEO is so fast. His name is Jose. He was running a company for the balloons before. He had 40 investors in there. He had completely ruined it. And I was like, dude, I'm not going to go into that. And then we started a new thing. So I don't know, the bank liked it. That's why it's so fast. It was not planned. But a system is a system of systems. And when these goals have been reached, it's important for everyone who's involved to find new goals. Because, like, do we find aliens there? What do we do with the materials? What do we do if we can build another Earth? What do we do? Yeah. What do we do if Trump suddenly wants to go to space and or shoot all the black people to space? So preferences are important, and preferences change. And I'm trying to build a flexible system where people are being taken seriously. And the goal will change. The goal now is to manifest the Cloud Nation and to secure the topic of space, just so that we don't have interstellar wars, so to say. Well, but it's a reality. It's not a joke. Why are you laughing?
Because it was something fun. No,
and you know, I think that if people would be able to access the power of their heart so much more. I have the privilege to have almost died on this island, and I saw that the clouds, they come slowly, you know, and the grass grows slowly. And also, if If you take an insect and you ram it into the floor, then it becomes earth, and then it goes down, and then it becomes a flower, you know, and that's reincarnation. And so now we have people thinking, what happens after death? Like, do I go to hell or to heaven? And it's like, dude, the universe is round, time is round, runs in a loop. You will be potentially reincarnated. Yeah? So what I'm trying to get to is we need to become more human again and more natural, and we can use technology and data to do that in a safe way, without getting killed, without pissing each other off. And that's what the hippies didn't have, and I think that's why it failed, and now it won't.
Are there any questions? I think I just did an introduction to the same stuff this morning to my class. I called this summa causae. This is a concept that we have from Ecuador, that the people themselves should be allowed that they can live in harmony with themselves. First harmony. Second harmony is like, how can you live in harmony in a system with your environment, with your society? And the third one is like, how can you live in harmony with nature? Because if we do exploit nature too much, it will all impact on all us. So it's a system. You are a system, you're a holobiont, because you are composed of thousands of little systems that make you you. You are a part of a bigger system, like the society. And the society is even part of this mothership Earth, and we have to play better games that we can preserve the Earth, that we can preserve in the end society and each individual, because each individual has something to say on this planet. And I think what Paula wanted to say, for me, a short recap or summarization, is kind of like that we have to keep an eye on it, and that we should build technology that are more holistic and that are more...
But to keep an eye on ourselves.
On ourselves, on the whole system that we are living in, and maybe using technology for a better goods than what we do today.
But you talked about this, what was the word, the omni-visual, the omni thing, from the prison.
Panopticon.
Panopticon.
Yeah.
Yes.
If we watch the system more, we don't watch ourselves. I think we should trust our unhappiness.
Yes.
I feel like people don't trust themselves. They trust money. And they say that you always know that it's real by the way that it feels, even if you're dreaming. Like, at the end of the day, it's your heart does matter. And I feel like so an exercise that we do in our team, I mean, in my team, people can select what kind of animal they want to be in a day. Sometimes someone is a cockroach, then you're a crocodile, or like if you're an elephant, like, I'm usually a giraffe, of course. But the reason why this is funny but also important is because we need to become more animalistic. And so if people walk normally, people walk like this, or they sit, or then maybe they work standing. That's also not great. So if you have your body posture, and if you have your, let's say you have your lower part of the body, which is, they say this is your playful part, yeah, because it's also your, I mean, why do we have hair on the genitals? Because they used to be free, because these are sensors, yeah? And we have hair on our head, because this is a sensor, also needs to be protected. So if you just look at your body, it tells you a lot. Yeah? And so if you have your lower part that people are not extremely connected to, I would say, I meditate physically as well, not in a tantraistic way or something, just to be in touch with my aura. I also do that with Tai Chi. Chi is your energy that flows through you, and data is important to show this. So how do you have the interface between, for me this is real human-computer interaction, me understanding that I'm a human, not me becoming that thing without being metal. That's not human-computer interaction. So if you have this in line with your heart and your brain, but normally I like to have that because I think the brain should not be that important. So if you put it back, and you can look into the sky more. And people used to look into the sky also to have direction, and they don't do that. Today they do this. So you do this, you don't do that, you have no direction. And then the Indians used to focus the chi on here, or like the third eye also. We do that here, to be more motor driven, to see where it leads you, the process of being you. So I think being human starts with actually understanding this.
Yeah, I just have a question before about, just wondering about this data self-reflection. I've seen that Apple just launched a new watch, which is not super innovative, but that goes into the direction of recording more data about, I don't know which data. Sorry?
Biometrical data.
Biometrical, but what specifically? I don't know, they have launched new, I don't know to which extent, because we were also saying that this smartphone somehow
It's not gonna work.
it's reflecting too much of ourselves and we are becoming a bit narcissistic. And I'm wondering if we go in the direction of recording more data about ourselves. If it's good or bad, I don't know what is the frontier about
it's like it's kind of like if you have who the fuck is Apple to take your data and offer it to
That's
you
for
back?
sure.
That's the core problem.
That's the core problem.
And it's like who the fuck is a bank to say value is money? For me, I'm just trying to depict that we are in the same system here. Because if you would know, if Apple would be truthful, that's why the Cloud Nation wants to build technology that is adaptable to the iPhone, where you can test all the things yourself, and then you can take it, and then you can do whatever you want. And if you want, you can participate in our system, but it's yours, that's horrible what they're doing. That's slavery that they're putting people in. They're stealing their data and the data. And I almost wanted to crush this against the floor when I bought it. I hate that shit from Apple because, sorry for swearing, I swear a lot. But if you turn this on for the first time, then it says, are you okay with, after I paid 1,200 euro for this thing, 1,100. So you turn it on and then it says, are you okay with accepting our user agreements? And then I was like, no. And then it comes back. It's like, are you okay? No. And then, great lifestyle product for a creative consumer. And that's what I like about lies, is that they break. I'm a little bit like China, because Goldman Sachs said China will go down for 20 years, and China did not go down. And with me, everyone was like, oh, she's gonna die now, and now she's gonna die, and now she's gonna die. But the thing is, I'm real, and my heart is in place, and I'm not dead. And there's a lot of people who are like half dead, who I know, unfortunately, or because they fucked up some stuff. But the point is that as consumers who are aware and who are becoming increasingly aware, we notice. And this is not gonna go on. And how can you build a product for a creative consumer and then the first thing that you get is non-creativity, is slavery? Yeah, like, try me. It's not gonna work, I don't think. And so this is, I'm a part of a group of people, when I left the island, I had I was running 14 houses where we had ex-military personnel of many, many countries from all over the world who were living with me. Some of them, funny enough, were adopted from hardcore Christian military families in the US. Like Andrew, my best friend, he has 13 brothers and sisters. He's Asian, and he is adopted into the military family, and they voted for Trump, and that's why he was with me. You know, he has that every day where people are like, you are not happy because you don't believe in the word of Jesus Christ. The thing is, he's super happy, and he's wealthier than they are, and so we're proud to be a problem for some people. And that was the core of how this started. And when I came back, everyone was like, okay, great, thanks for staying alive. And so we're really fast also. Yeah. And there are some people who don't want to work for Elon Musk, also in Express, SpaceX. They had some layoffs now over Corona, and that's not so bad for me. Yeah.
Yes. Quite early in the talk, you mentioned building a system that captures your data and makes you the owner of it. If I understood correctly.
Yeah.
You started with saying, okay, there are different layers, and you use the analogy of your body, and then you have the interaction with the world, and then the whole system kind of. And if I understood correctly, you want to build this on the
datanomic grid.
Exactly, on the blockchain.
Yes.
Solution to simplify. Can you explain a bit more there? What
No,
you have?
because my developer is coming from, so we built our currency in, I mean, I can, but I don't know everything. And what's Küchenpsychologie in English is like Küchenpsychologie is like a psychologist who doesn't have a degree. Like I can do voodoo talk now about this, but do you allow me to do voodoo talk? Okay, so basically, my fabulous developer who is gonna come soon, he also built the currency with me, so that's how I first got into blockchain. And this person is in Pakistan right now, so cryptocurrencies in Pakistan are illegal. So that's why what we did was not legal, it was fully legal. But for him to continue to work on this, because he only built the base, we need to get him here. Or somewhere to Europe. So he's probably going to go to a university in Germany. How this works is essentially that I care about the storage principles. So I think that if we have the emotions, we are still, I would like to work with you on that a little bit, or like talk to you about it. This is a thing that we're testing offline now in a very rudimental process that's very, very helpful and working. That's why I'm here. And from a technical point of view, I'm not sure if we will use colors, or if we will use sound, or if we will play between those two. Just because I want it to be in the end like a melody. Like you pick your own tone in the morning, and then if you do that all the time, then I would like to give people the possibility to stay on that tone. Like, what makes you happier? You know, like, is it watching the flowers that you saw for the first time when you were little and your dad was there and you were happy? You know, store that. Is it the smell of your girlfriend? Store that. What's a bad emotion? Is it the death of your grandmother? Store it, you know, for self-awareness, so that you can go back, and so that you can reevaluate yourself, and so that you can say, okay, it's maybe not that bad, or yes, it is really bad, and You know, in martial arts, they say it's an art form to be angry in the right way, in the right moment, at the right person. And anger is okay. It's just about dignified behavior towards everything. And so for me, that's the emotional level. And then from the physical level, there it becomes more complex because it's one about the nutrition, like what you consume. And of course, people would need to, from what I think, we will have a discussion about this. So we will, I mean, we're already having so many discussions. How many more can you have? But so from a physical point of view, personally speaking, again, I would like people to understand what is in their body. Like we're made out of water, out of flesh, also out of skin, which is a form of flesh. And then what are the materials that we have? And based on what we have, what do we consume? It's like if you cook tomato soup, put basil in it. If you put basil into mousse au chocolat, it's a different thing, and everyone is different, but everyone has essentially the same base. So what do you put inside of what, and how does that influence your emotions? And again, how does it influence your relativity, what you feel? And then what do you do after that? So it does need commitment. That's why it's a social concept. It's, for me, a society is something that's not a party. It's not Burning Man. That's why Burning Man doesn't work, because they didn't have that. I'm quite familiar with Burning Man. And that's why I built this concept. I mean, I have to say that they visited me on the island a lot. I was in a relationship for 2 years with the person who was leading their humanitarian stuff, because they were Burning Man is a festival in the middle of the desert of Nevada, and they always leave no trace. So they build a city for 100,000 people, and then they take it off again. And what they build there to like have parades, this stuff is exported to also solve problems around the world or to make people happy. And so a lot of that stuff was used in the refugee crisis as well. They have to build refugee camps. That's why I had a lot of drones on the islands. But the synergy part of the concept was lacking for me. And that's why I changed it. And Burners Without Borders are still involved. Yeah, and so you will have to use that thing to have enough data to then also see what is in my body, what do I put into my body. When you become a cyborg or something, your base structure will change. So, yeah, that's it, essentially. And then there will become a process where you say, okay, does your ability change based on what you have there? And I think that's emotions, physical, nutrition level, and then core abilities. Would you like to provide them to the community? Yes or no? And then if you say yeah, okay, cool, if you get an offer to do something, and then you say no, I don't want to do it, and then the controller says okay, swipe, next candidate, but don't swipe next person today, swipe next thing to learn, next job to do. And jobs are not to make money, jobs are to produce food, jobs are to wire communication devices, jobs are to maybe drive people who need that. Jobs are linked to the goals. And yeah, to sub goals, a system is a system of systems.
You touched on content and how this is getting exposed to other people and content and doing stuff. And I guess directly to find something space to, for example, substitute things like content.
I use this as an example, but yes, that's correct. Yeah.
And do you already have something in mind, or you might go down there?
question. And so there's a guy who we are looking to take into our team now, who's specialized on data, material data as far as I understood. And he has a space angle to him. I have to say I have not checked his bio completely because next to Sue, my father, I was a little bit busy. So there's this person who we're looking at, and he's probably very good at his job, I know, but his job with me would be to do exactly what you said, as to do the base work. What materials do we go for? Where could they be found? Is there interest? Can they also work under oxygen? This is CO2 is a massive thing because we have the atmosphere, and how can you use something that you find out there under the atmosphere? So it's perfectly valid what you're saying. It's true, and there will be different sort of morphing processes to this, from what I think. But it's research. So our principles are lifelong learning, like learning and also radical self-reliance. So we need to trust in ourselves. And non-violent communication, that kind of stuff. But why I'm mentioning that is because it's a field of research. And I'm honest with them. So we are starting with some problems like cotton or like oil, because the thing is, also we need to find something for oil. There's a story that I once wrote where, where the heroin addict or they try and take my blood out completely and then they put it into my face like that. And if I do that with all my blood, then eventually I fall. That's, you can understand this, no? Now what we do with the earth is we take out all the blood, we put it up to our face, and now we change the way that the earth is flying, because it changes the atmosphere, because the heart of the earth is aching, because we take out all the blood, and so that's why oil is very cool. And I would go for the level of catastrophe, this is what you're asking right now, linked to materials that we have on the planet. And then I would use database, materials that we could find in space, and say like, what do you have, and how can we turn that into a product to solve problems? And then he will say, well, we need this, we need that, we need that. And that's probably going to be the next round of investment. But I think we're fine on that front. But does that make sense somehow?
Yes, sure. Yes, sir. I want to say, isn't that like trying to solve a problem by negotiating the same problem over the state? So like, instead of sucking stuff out of the earth, you're sucking stuff out of the universe, and putting it on Earth that's not supposed to be there or something. I don't know exactly what I'm doing.
Okay, no, I understand what you mean here.
Fighting Mars to figure out or
But it's not fighting, no, it's like, using Earth. Why can I not take Earth from Saudi Arabia and bring it to Germany, and in Germany they don't have sand? Why can I not take the sand from the desert and bring up glass to Germany to grow maybe like a cactus or something in there that has a glass to grow? And if it's linked to, so in medical research you have this a lot, if you're missing a needle, and there again it's about relativity, if it's not respected
somehow, is it okay to?
I love your mask.
Yeah, what is the director that
Ah, cool. Hi.
so you said several things around direction,
Yeah.
one is just that how people projects where we also raise so we are quite very space which have billions of so they're much more the question here is how quickly you are very projects in range for some conflict issues. There are projects like
Yeah.
which use less conflict resources. There are always resolve the projects trying to create systems which are trying to preserve and sufficient resistance ways.
I tell the people to fuck off. I told Mark Zuckerberg personally to
Yes,
fuck
I
off.
would like to have something just goes down. Because
No, I think if the company would go down, it's like if I'm the worst bitch on the planet, maybe I'd build something nice.
I think it should be forbidden for everyone's I mean, it's not okay, I mean, not everyone's unstable, they're not taking data.
Yeah, but that's him. That's not him.
There's not consensus to say, they want to say, my person thinking to coach.
I agree.
That's not something that also put you, yeah, you must.
What would you do with it? Like, if you were me, how would you deal with it?
I think we need to replace that system.
Okay, can you work with me on doing that? Like, we do it.
Several projects that are working.
Okay, so what's the problem?
Those projects usually are entirely on the research, so you have to something just as 10,000 of employees in the States, outside now, you apply to state, outside
Yeah, but now we're here. I'm sorry that you have to make this experience. I really, you know,
so I feel if you want to, it's just
you would walk sorry.
the economy as easy as
Right.
sense.
You
You
know-
know, making things that you can work people in the job, you are very people, so several things, and you shop around to city service or something like that.
Yeah, it's I'm not like that. You don't know me. Don't think that you know me. You said this online before. You have no idea what you're talking about, Dominic. Like, too big for you. You know the story of Dustin, yeah. Maybe you don't like that. Talk politics. I like Switzerland because you guys have the decision-making process. Like, why should there be one white people killing other black people? No, we don't do that. We change the rules of the game, and you don't. You compete with the problem. I'm not a problem. I don't want the problems. I have no solution. These people don't get a minute of my time just because they're not worth anything. And that's how you fight with people. They do it the way you don't give them power. You give them power with your energy that you're wasting on them. I told Mark Zuckerberg that I would never sleep with him. And he's fucking ugly. That was really funny because then his assistant called me and then I got confused. But yeah, so people build technology. If I say to Mark Zuckerberg that his father is a dentist and his mother has built mental institutions, and so he's addicted to looking into people's mouths and brains, and he's building a massive shrink house. And then I can I mean, Mark Zuckerberg on the one side, he wants to be liked by people like the Waco bosses, but on the other side, he hates them. Waco boss twins had the original idea of Facebook, but he has a schizophrenic relationship to people like that because he also wants to be liked by them, which explains Cambridge Analytica and his selling of the consumer data to the Trump because Trump represents the people, and so that's why Mark Zuckerberg did that. He gave it to Trump because no one likes him. At the end of the day, it is a big school, and he is being bullied, and people don't like him. And I think, why the hell would he use Facebook? I don't.
Use Facebook.
Okay, good.
Use Facebook. So, but I mean, media references people like this used for the functionality. They don't like this way that you show them what's possible to say, what all of them are missing that's key. And launching some solution for everything. So, it's not a problem.
Yes, but see, the thing is, you how much score do you? No. So you're a problem in my eyes because you don't do sports, you don't look at your physique, you don't think about what you eat too much, and you're unhappy also for other reasons. And you're depicting them onto Mark Zuckerberg because you need something so big to look at every day, so that you don't think about your other problems.
You're pretty correct.
Me too. I'm creating legs that walk out, and I cannot 500 kilos or 100 kilometers in 5 days. Mark Zuckerberg cannot do that. And so if I have an army of very, very powerful, strong individuals who don't like Facebook, then they can crush that.
If I may interject, just to find some conciliation, I think the discussion started with actually we both trying to solve the same solution. Then from my point of view, there seems to be a misunderstanding, and I'm going to more personal stuff. I think you're both
I'm not talking about it. I'm building a different reality. I'm not competing with Mark Zuckerberg at all. I never wanted to build a social network when I started with the Cloud Nation because it's about life. I was thinking I want to build something that influences 8 billion people in a very, very nice way. And that's why I came up with this legal system. Because if everyone gets it, and 1921, Albert Einstein started with the theory of relativity. 21, before that, Galileo Galilei already had the knowledge for that. And what did we do? What did we do with it? Now I'm saying. And that's why, Kant also said you need not even leave your room. You don't even have to look into that. You can find the answers everywhere. And they're inside. And if we make 8 billion people understand who they are, then use Facebook, but use it in a dignified way. Crack your own brain and brain into the right way, hack yourself. But so I had to do that because I didn't want to die. And I was like, fuck, I'm a product of my parents. That's so gross. And then I thought, they're going to watch this. Doesn't matter. But then I was like, okay, body hacking. Like every movement that I did to the left, then essentially I started to do to the right. Or I changed my tone of voice. I didn't speak for roughly a year. So it's a bit more. So everything changed. And that's why they're scared. Because they don't have power. And if people know themselves and they see themselves as creators and not as users or consumers. Again, why does he not talk? He talk about people or users? He doesn't talk about creators. He doesn't say. He doesn't say that. And I think that's fine because people create on this tool that things.
I'm sorry to be that close to that stuff. But what I would like to say is, for you, maybe you can get directly access and discuss this further later on, which is not to the end here. I hope that the discussion is going on. What I want to add here as closing thing, we from the humanists that were offering or somehow involved in the study, and we here, we try to find new democratic, so that we put humans again at the wheel and not the machines. So we do not want to replace humanity with the machines and take the next step towards the machines, but maybe that we give the humans the power that they can be still humans also in the future. And that is why I thank Paula, because she's doing the same in a higher level, with higher ambitions, with way more people around the whole world than what we are doing here. But we hope that we can work somehow together here, that we find ways how we can use your knowledge, your means, your ideas, and connect them also to our ideas, so that we can make the world a better place. Now, kind of like the Pachamama that we talked about, Pachamama is not there, and it's maybe on her face, that would be a bad future. So, thank you again, Paula, for being here, for being with us. Yes, if there are other questions or so, maybe you can. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you. I'm sorry for